Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle from the Team Rocket through Legendary Collection format. On one side, we've got the Steelix and Alakazam deck going up against the Eeveelutions deck on the other side, so we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account at Holland_Phantom so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle. And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Steelix side, we've got Cleffa as the active Pokemon with an Onix on the bench, and on the Eevee side, we've got Eevee as the active Pokemon. The Steelix side is going first, placing Tentacool down onto the bench, and then attaching a Metal Energy to the active Cleffa to fully power it up. And there's the first attack, Eek. And now the player can shuffle away their entire hand to draw 7 brand new cards. Cleffa is a really powerful Pokemon in this format, letting players draw deeper into their deck to set up their boards. Okay, there's the cards being drawn, and now over to the Eevee side for their first turn. Cleffa comes down for the Eevee side now. And now the player activates Good Manners as their trainer card. They reveal their hand to show that they don't have any basic Pokemon, and now they can search for one from their deck. And the one chosen is going to be another Eevee coming down. These Eevee are going to be the main attackers once they evolve. Now Eevee's going to retreat to promote Cleffa, which then gets a Rainbow Energy. It does take 10 damage from the Rainbow Energy though. And there's the attack, Eek. The player does have to flip a coin if they attack into a baby Pokemon. They got head, so the attack does go through, otherwise it would have failed and done nothing. And there's the 7 cards being drawn for the Eevee player. And now back over to the Steelix side. Okay, let's see what they can do. A Metal Energy comes down to the benched Onix. And then Cleffa comes down onto the bench, followed by Good Manners. And now the Steelix side reveals their hand as well. They don't have any basic Pokemon, so now they can search for one from their deck. And the one chosen is going to be Abra, the main support Pokemon once it evolves into Alakazam. Followed by the trainer Professor Elm to shuffle away the player's hand and draw 7 brand new cards that does the same thing as Cleffa's attack. But now the player does not get to play any more trainer cards for the rest of the turn. Now Onix evolves into Steelix, and the turn passes. Over to the other side now, one of the Eevee evolves into Flareon, which then activates the Pokemon Power Chain Reaction on the other Eevee, letting it evolve from the deck. And the chosen evolution is going to be the Umbreon. So now we've got 2 Eeveelutions in play. Umbreon is going to be getting a Darkness Energy equipped onto it. And then Flareon gets the Pokemon Tool EXP All, followed by Focus Band coming down onto Umbreon. And then Chaos Gym comes down as a Stadium. Chaos Gym is a really powerful Stadium. Whenever a player tries to activate a trainer card, they have to flip a coin, and if they get tails, they can't use it, but their opponent can. And then there's the attack, another Eek. They got heads on the coin flip, and now the player gets to draw 7 brand new cards. And now over to the Steelix side, and let's see what they can do. Abra evolves into Kadabra, and then Potion Energy comes down to Steelix. It just needs 1 more energy to use Tail Crush, and turn passes once again, still no attacks coming through. A second Darkness Energy comes down to Umbreon. Each Darkness Energy does increase its attack power by 10 points. And then Porygon comes down to the bench, followed by the attack Eek. And it is Tails that time, so it does nothing. Okay, the Steelix player evolves her Kadabra into Alakazam now, giving them access to Damage Swap. And then another Onix comes down onto the bench. And there's Professor Elm as a trainer card. Here's a coin flip for it. Oh, but it is Tails! So it means that the Eevee player can use the Professor Elm. So they shuffle away their hand to draw 7 brand new cards, and there's still the Steelix side's turn. Okay, and they're going to be trying to attack with Eek. Here's the coin flip. And it is heads. The attack is successful, and they get to shuffle away their hand to draw 7 brand new cards. So both sides are setting up their attackers. Okay, here we go. Umbreon just needs 1 more energy to start attacking with its Feint attack. And there it is, Rainbow Energy comes down to Umbreon. It takes 10 damage from it, but it is fully powered up. Cleffa retreats to promote the Umbreon, and the player's going to be trying to take their first KO of the game. And there's the attack, Feint Attack, targeting down the active Cleffa, and here's a coin flip. Oh, but it is Tails, it does nothing. So no damage coming through. Over to the Steelix side, the player activates Eco Gym to finally get rid of the Chaos Gym. And now they can freely use their trainer cards. The second Onix evolves into Steelix, and the first Steelix gets a Recycle Energy to fully power it up. And now it looks like Cleffa's going to be retreating to promote Steelix to go on the offensive. There's the attack, Tail Crush. Here's a coin flip for it, and it is Tails. It only does 30 damage, otherwise it would have hit for 50. Here we go, over to the Eevee side. The player activates Professor Elm to shuffle away their hand and draw 7 brand new cards. And now they're going to be trying to power up this Flareon on the bench, as Flareon can take a one-hit KO against Steelix with its Flamethrower attack. Did they get any Fire Energy for it, though? Let's take a look. Not yet, but they did get a Psychic Energy. There's the attack, Feint Attack, targeting down the Cleffa, sorry, not the Cleffa, the Tentacle on the bench to take the one-hit KO against it and take the first prize of the game. Okay, no cards are played on the Steelix side, going straight for the attack, Tail Crush. It is going to be heads that time, but then the Focus Band triggers on the Umbreon. Here's another coin flip. And heads. Focus Band is discarded, but Umbreon is not KO'd, it's down to just 10 HP remaining. So it can take another KO against one of the Cleffa on the bench. Another Eevee comes down to the bench now. And Porygon evolves into Dark Porygon 2, which triggers the chain reaction on the new Eevee. So it can evolve into a second Umbreon. Here we go. So 3 Eeveelutions in play now. Although it does look like the active Umbreon might be getting KO'd soon. Oh, never mind. They got a Gold Berry to heal some damage off of it. And there's another Feint Attack taking the KO against the bench Cleffa. That is 2 prizes taken. And now in between turns, the Gold Berry is discarded to heal 40 damage off of Umbreon. So a really good turn. Okay, Potion Energy comes down to the bench Steelix now. No more cards are played. There's the Tail Crush, and here's a coin flip. And Tails. It only hits for 30 damage. So Umbreon is still in the game with 20 HP remaining. Although it cannot take the KO against the bench Cleffa because Cleffa is protected by the Metal Energy. There's the attack, Feint Attack, targeting down the active Steelix for 50 damage. Feint Attack does ignore the ability of the Metal Energy on the Steelix. Okay, now over to the Steelix's side. The damage swap is activated, moving all the damage from the active Steelix to the benched one. And there's another Tail Crush to finally take the KO against Umbreon, and now Steelix takes their first prize. Okay. Cleffa comes up as the new active Pokemon for the Eevee side now. And Mew comes down onto the bench. Mew's going to be getting the EXP all. And there's the Eek Attack. The player shuffles away their hand to draw some more cards, and they're going to be trying to get some Fire Energy to power up this Flareon. So let's take a look to see if the Steelix can take the KO against Cleffa, but first the Recycle Energy comes down to the bench Steelix. And another Onix comes down onto the bench. And there's a Tail Crush. Here's a coin flip. And it's Tails, so it does nothing against Cleffa's Baby Power. Okay, does the player have a Fire Energy? Not yet, but they have a Professor Elm to shuffle away their hand to draw some more cards. So this might be it. Although Flareon does need 4 energy to start using Flamethrower. Okay, yeah, there's the second Fire Energy coming down. They just need 1 more to start taking KOs. And turn passes. No attack coming through. And the Steelix player does not play any cards. They go straight for the attack. And it is heads that time. So Cleffa is KO'd. And both sides are tied at 4 prizes remaining apiece. Now Flareon finally comes into the active spot. It just needs 1 more energy. And let's see if the player has it. Yes, they do. A second Psychic Energy comes down to fully power up its Flamethrower attack. An Energy Stadium comes down to get rid of the Eco Gem on the other side. Followed by Pokemon Trader, swapping out Cleffa from the hand for any Pokemon from the deck. And the one chosen is going to be an Espeon this time. And there's Good Manners, revealing their hand. They have the Espeon, Rainbow Energy, and I think it was a Rocket Sneak Attack, so they can search their deck for any basic Pokemon. And the one chosen is going to be the final Eevee of the deck. So it looks like this one's going to be evolving into Espeon. And there's Rocket Sneak Attack activating, looking at the opponent's hand. And wow, that is a lot of cards in their hand. They can choose one trainer card found there to shuffle back into the deck. And it looks like the one chosen is going to be the Nightly Garbage Run. Yeah, it's going to be the choice. So Nightly Garbage Run is shuffled back into the deck. And then... yeah, there's the attack Flamethrower, discarding a Fire Energy and taking the one-hit KO against Steelix, as it does hit it for weakness, and that is 3 prizes taken by the Eevee side so far. Cleffa comes back up as a new active Pokemon. And there's an Eco Gem to get rid of the Energy Stadium. And no cards are played. There's an Eek Attack to shuffle away the hand and draw 7 new cards. The player needs one more Metal Energy to start powering up this Steelix on the bench. Okay, on the Eevee side, Dark Porygon 2 activates its Pokemon power Spatial Distortion. They flip a coin, but it is tails, so it did nothing. There's another Fire Energy coming down to Flareon. And now Eevee evolves into Espeon, the third evolution of the deck. And there's the Flamethrower attack. Here's the coin flip. And heads. Discarding a Fire Energy to take the KO against Cleffa. That is 4 prizes taken. So Eevee has taken a really big lead. Okay, here comes Steelix into the active spot now. Let's see if the player got the Metal Energy to start attacking with Tail Crush. Not yet, but there's the Energy Charge, flipping a coin. And that's tails, it does nothing. But here we see another Energy Charge, there's another coin flip. And that one is heads. So they can search their discard pile for up to 2 energy cards to shuffle into the deck. And the ones chosen are going to be 2 Metal Energies. And now the player just needs a way to draw into them. Next we see a Focus Band coming down to Steelix, and there's Professor Elm to shuffle their hand into the deck. So they get 7 new cards. And hopefully one of them is going to be the Metal Energy. Let's see what they got. And yes, they did. Metal Energy comes down to power up the Tail Crush attack. And there it is. The attack is declared. He has a coin flip, and it is heads. It's for 50 damage, so Flareon is going to be within KO range on the following turn. Unless the player has a Fire Energy to use Flamethrower and take another one-hit KO. Okay, there's the Spatial Distortion from the Dark Porygon 2. Here's a coin flip. And another Tails. It does nothing. Do they have the Fire Energy, though? Oh, it looks like they don't. It's going to be a Darkness Energy coming down to the Umbreon. So Flareon can only attack with Quick Attack. There's Professor Elm to shuffle away the player's hand. And draw 7 new cards. So even if they got the Fire Energy now, they can't attach any more energies. Okay, they attack with Quick Attack. Here's a coin flip for it. Oh, but it's Tails, so it only does 10 damage, I think. Yeah, just 10. So not a very good turn for the Eevee side now. Okay, over to the Steelix side. The benched Onix evolves into a second Steelix. And there's Damage Swap coming down from Alakazam, moving all the damage from the active Steelix to the benched one now. And there's a Tail Crush to take the KO against Flareon, and that is 3 prizes taken now by Steelix. And now the EXPL activates on the Mew to take one of the Psychic Energies off of the KO'd Flareon to power it up. The new Pokemon's going to be Espeon, as it does have the free retreat cost to let it act as the pivot. A second Darkness Energy comes down to the benched Umbreon, and now Espeon is going to be retreating to promote Mew. Mew has a Pokemon power called Neutral Shield, so it cannot be hit by the attacks of evolved Pokemon. And there's Dark Porygon 2's ability once again, but it's a third Tails in a row, so nothing happens. And now over to the Steelix side. A Goldberry gets attached to the benched Steelix now. There's the attack. Oh, and they just get a thumbs up from the opponent. As like I said earlier, the attack does nothing against Mew. Okay, here's another Spatial Distortion coming through. And it is finally heads! Now the player can search their discard pile for any stadium card to put into play, and the one chosen is going to be the Energy Stadium to get rid of the Eco Gym. The next Energy Stadium is activated. Here's a coin flip for it. And it's heads! To search the discard pile for a basic energy card, and the one chosen is going to be the Psychic Energy to fully power up the Umbreon. And now an EXPL comes down to the Espeon on the bench. Oh, and the players are reminding their opponent to discard the Goldberry, and then healing 40 damage off of Steelix. Goldberry is triggered between turns. Mew is going to be paying the retreat cost to promote Umbreon now. So Umbreon's going to be the main attacker once again. There's the attack, Feint Attack, hitting for 50 damage. Not a whole lot of damage, and it's going to be swept away by the damage swap next turn anyway. Okay, over to the Steelix side now. There's the damage swap, moving all the damage from Steelix to the benched one. And there's the Tail Crush. And it's going to be heads on the coin flip, hitting for 50 damage, more than half of Umbreon's HP. So it's going to be within KO range on the following turn. Okay, so things are not looking good for the Eevee side right now. Here's the Nightly Garbage Run to search their discard pile for up to 3 cards. It's going to be an Eevee, a Flareon, and a Fire Energy. So it looks like Flareon's going to be the win condition, as it's the only one capable of taking a one-hit KO against Steelix. And now the player just has to draw back into it and fully power it up. So it's going to take a couple turns. There's the Energy Stadium. Here's a coin flip for it. And another heads to search the discard pile for another basic energy, and it's going to be a Psychic Energy coming down onto Espeon. And there's another Feint Attack hitting for 50 more damage. So they're really piling on the damage on the Steelix side. Okay, turn passes once again. There's a damage swap, moving the damage off of the active Pokemon to Steelix on the bench, and onto Alakazam. That's a lot of damage already on their side. Oh, but they can get rid of all of it with Pokemon Center! So all that damage just got undone. And now the Steelix side is fully refreshed. There's a Tail Crush to take the KO against Umbreon. And Steelix is tied it up, 2 prizes remaining apiece. The EXPL activates on the Umbreon to take the... on the Espeon to take the Psychic Energy. It just needs 1 more energy to fully power up its Psychic Attack. Okay, it comes into the active spot now. Maybe? Yes, it does. Okay. Energy Stadium activates. Here's the coin flip. And another heads. So they get another energy card. And it's going to be a Fire Energy coming down to the Espeon to fully power up its Psychic Attack. And there's the attack declared. Psychic hitting for 30 damage plus 10 more for every energy on the opponent's Pokemon. So it's going to be a total of 60, minus 10 for the Metal Energy for 50 damage on Steelix. And there's damage swap. Once again, moving all the damage from the active Steelix to the benched one. It's really hard to take down the Steelix once the Alakazam is in play. There's the Tail Crush. And then it's Tails that time, only hitting for 30 damage. Okay, the player activates Energy Stadium. And they get another heads to get back another discarded basic energy card. This time getting a Fire Energy. And here's the next trainer card, Double Gust. Both players choose their opponent's bench Pokemon to bring into the active spot. So the new Pokemon are going to be Alakazam and Dark Porygon 2. And now Dark Porygon 2 pays a retreat cost to promote Espeon once again, and now it can hit Alakazam for weakness. There's the Psychic Attack hitting for 60 damage. And Alakazam also has a retreat cost of 3, so it might be stuck in the active spot for quite a while. Back over to the Steelix side now. Oh, but they have another Pokemon Center to get rid of all that damage once again. Although Alakazam is still stuck in the active spot. Oh, never mind. The player has the Balloon Berry to pay the retreat cost, and now Steelix comes back up. So the player had exactly what they needed in their hand. There's the Tail Crush declared. Here's the coin flip. And that is heads. So Steelix takes a KO against Espeon, and they have finally taken the lead. They just got to take one more KO to win this game. The next Pokemon coming up is going to be the Mew with the neutral shield. And there's Pokemon Trader, swapping out another Dark Porygon 2 for any Pokemon from the deck. Okay, and the Eevee comes back down onto the bench. And it gets a Fire Energy. Here comes the Energy Stadium activating again. Oh, but it is Tails that time, so they don't get any energy cards this turn. And next we see the Spatial Distortion activating. Oh, but it's another Tails. A lot of Tails coming through for this turn. And now turn passes. On the Steelix side, the Steelix cannot damage this Mew, so they gotta find a way around it. Here's Pokemon Trader activating. Searching their deck for another Pokemon. Oh, but they got nothing, so they chose to fail the search. Turn passes back over to the Eevee side. Eevee evolves into Flareon, and it needs 3 more energy cards to fully power it up. There's the Energy Stadium. Oh, but it's another Tails. Although the player does have a Rainbow Energy in hand. Flareon takes 10 damage from it, and turn passes back over. A second Metal Energy comes down to Steelix to shield it from 20 damage, so even Flareon's Flamethrower cannot take the one-hit KO against it. No other cards are played, turn passes back over. Really quick turns. There's the Energy Stadium. And another Tails. Now Flareon gets a second Rainbow Energy. That's 20 damage from it. And turn passes once again. Okay, the Steelix player then activates Nightly Garbage Run to search their discard pile for an Onix. And actually, that's going to be it. Just one Onix being shuffled back into the deck. And now Pokemon Trader is activated to swap out Cleffa from the hand. For probably that Onix that was just shuffled back in. Yeah, Onix comes back down. So the player's going to be trying to use Onix to take the KO against Mew, as Mew can be damaged by basic Pokemon. Onix gets a Fighting Energy, just needs one more to be fully powered up, and then turn passes. There's the Energy Stadium. And another Tails! Energy Stadium is not pulling its weight anymore. It's going to be getting discarded to activate Chaos Gym now. And now here comes Spatial Distortion. And another Tails, what a surprise. A second Porygon comes down onto the bench now, and turn passes. So the player did not have the 4th energy for the Flareon. No cards are played for the Steelix side, they pass right back to the Eevee side. The second Porygon evolves into another Dark Porygon 2. And here we go. Psychic Energy comes down to Flareon. To fully power it up, here comes the first Spatial Distortion. And it's heads that time! To swap out to the Chaos Gym for the Energy Stadium once again. Energy Stadium is activated. And another Tails. Okay, so with nothing else to do, the turn passes back over to the Steelix side. A Cleffa comes down to the bench now. And here comes a Warp Point, forcing both players to swap out their active Pokemon. So Dark Porygon 2 comes up. And so does Cleffa, which then pays a retreat cost, which is free, to bring Steelix back up. And now Steelix can finally start doing some damage. Here's the Tail Crush. And then his heads, hitting for 50 damage. So Dark Porygon 2 is nearly KO'd. Okay, let's see if the Eevee player has an energy card to pay the retreat cost. Here comes Energy Stadium. And it's heads, finally! So they get back and energy card to pay the retreat cost and start attacking into the Steelix. Oh, but first, here comes another Double Gust to bring up the Steelix on the bench without any energy. And the Dark Porygon 2 on the bench also gets pulled up into the active spot. So it looks like that's going to be the play to take the KO this turn. The player uses their energy card to pay the retreat cost. And now Flareon comes into the active spot. There's the attack declared. Flamethrower discarding a fire energy to take the one-hit KO against Steelix. And now both sides are tied at 1 prize remaining apiece. Although Flareon is down to just 50 HP. If Tail Crush gets a heads on the coin flip, Steelix can win it on this turn. Let's see what they can do. There's the attack, Tail Crush, and here's the coin flip. And it's heads! Hitting for 50 damage to take the final KO and the final prize. And there's the handshake! Steelix is your winner! So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.